All right, guys. I wasn't going to do this evening, but I have been literally full at it all day, pretty much, because I'm going to take this week off. It's been a long time. If I'm honest, I'm really really tired, and yeah, I'm going to take a week off. So there may or may not be videos on Friday. There will be one on Tuesday, which is going to be evening, which is going to be a visual version of my podcast that will be coming out tomorrow. So if you listen to the podcast and you want to watch the visual for that, that's going to be available on the channel on Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to have a video on Friday just yet because I'm going to be away. So I've decided to take kind of like a week out and not really do much work because it's been needed. I've been flat out pretty much this entire year, 2 videos a week, 1 podcast a week, and then coaching and all the other things that I do. There isn't enough time in the day. So I thought I'd jump on really quickly now, just to maybe just have a conversation with people and to answer any questions that might come up. And we can spend maybe half an hour because I'm aware that it's quite late. It's 10:30 right now. So I'm not sure how many people are actually going to be up and actually watching. But yes, if you do have questions, then feel free to fire away in the comments. Hopefully you guys can hear me clearly as well. I'm sure that you can. So yeah, but it's been an interesting week, and I've not really paid too much attention to the markets or anything like that. I've been paying a little bit attention to crypto and stuff, but it is what it is at the end of the day, and we don't have any control over some of the bits and pieces that come along in the market. These are all things that are outside of our control. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, when you're investing, these are the kind of things that you have to be okay with happening. You can't control what's going to happen to the share price of Coca-Cola or Tesla or anyone like that. You just have to pretty much just roll with the punches a lot of the time. So, all right, let's have a look. Let me just see if I can get this straight. Where are we going? There we go. That's better. There is a question here. Okay, GT, how you doing? How you doing? Is it a wise idea to invest in S&P 500 monthly as a vehicle to save for a house deposit over 4 to 6 year period? No, probably not. Because the S&P 500 can still go up and down. I think the S&P is down at the moment. Let me just double check my portfolio in Vanguard. But I'm pretty sure that it was down 2 or 3% midweek, which would have wiped out most of my gains that I had in there. So if I log into my Vanguard account right now, well, based on my timing, I'm 1.24% up, but I was up about 4% this time last week. So probably not. I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, your investment time horizons are really, really important. You'd have to watch it like a hawk, but 5 years really is the minimum you should be investing in. 4 to 5 is on the cusp. You're going to know that there is going to be a lot of volatility within the markets as well. And I think the bigger question is this, mate. If you go and put it into the S&P 500 and the market crashes and you're not able to purchase your house, what's your missus going to say if you were your missus? You're going to have to explain that to someone, right? That's not going to be a nice conversation to have. If you're on your own, then you got to answer to yourself. Will you really be happy that you put it into the market and you basically lost the money on the S&P 500? You have to ask yourself that question. If you're happy with the risk, then that's fine. But I always try to remember people in these kind of scenarios that the house is the prize. Try not to lose sight of that. If you did do it, you need to review it every single year. You need to keep on it like a hawk. Really pay attention to it. But I would say, don't put it into the markets necessarily. I think maybe just try to maybe do a split approach. You've got to understand the risk. You've got to be okay with the risk, really. That's what I'm trying to say here, mate. Well, I use up my entire ISA allowance per year. What's the next most tax efficient way of investing? The next thing in the pyramid will be pensions. That's the very next thing in the pyramid. Um, you could, I mean, with a pension, you've got the disadvantage of a pension not being able to access it until you're what 55 now, according to the current legislation. That age will get pushed back out, I think, to 57, 58 soon. So a pension is next in the pyramid, but you have access issues. You could have a look at things like offshore bonds, but you wouldn't be able to source those via any of the investment platforms that are available right now. You'd have to go through a financial advisor to get one of those because they have to be advised because of the intricacies of how they work. So yeah, offshore bonds will be a good way for you to go if you've maxed out your ISA allowances or pensions. Or what you could do is you could do what a lot of advisors will do, which is what I would do for my clients when I was advising. Max out your ISA. So you put all of your £20,000 into your ISA for the current tax year. And then what you do, if you're using someone like Vanguard, for example, you then open a general investment account, pay the money into general investment account, have that invested. And when the new tax year rolls around, what you simply then do is just move £20,000 into your ISA for the new tax year. So a couple of things for you to think about right there. Nutmeg. Own with a pension pot with them. Probably bad timing, but the intention is to consolidate two pensions I had with a previous job. Does it make sense to set the risk level to high 9? I'm 48. Good question. If you're in your 20s, I'll be saying yes. You're 48. It depends what your retirement date is. I mean, most pension schemes will have a retirement date of maybe 65 because they'll try and go along in line with state pension. So if that is the case, then you're going to have, what, 15, 17, 18 years, maybe 15 years roughly. So yeah, potentially you're going to have enough time. So yeah, I mean, nutmeg are a good option to have a look at for that. I don't know how many investment options they have. I mean, I'm gonna be a little biased in actually asking you to also check out Pension B because Pension B are awesome. They are very, 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 very good. Their performance is ace as well. I've had a couple of my old pensions sat with them now for I think about 18 months, 2 years now, coming up, and they've done very, very well. Really, 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 really well. And they've got quite a few options available. Plus, they have ethically built investment strategies as well. I think Nutmeg, do Nutmeg have them? I'm not sure. I don't know whether Nutmeg have an ESG or ethically sourced investment vehicle, but maybe worthwhile having a look at Pension B as well as a possible comparison for them. But yeah, I mean, you're 48. Whether you should go high or not is really dependent on how long you're going to have to invest and whether you have any other provisions and what level of income you're going to require when you get to your retirement date. So yeah, you kind of need to be a little bit careful. I can't give you more kind of like nuanced information without really understanding your scenario. But for the time horizon, if you're going to be looking at 15 years plus, then yeah, it would make sense to go high risk. But you do need to consider the other factors as well. All right, let's have a look at this one. Hey Pete, I signed up to a Help to Buy ISA a while back because I was told to do so before you can't anymore. Yeah. I'm not really sure what it does or how to use it, and the account is just dormant. Okay, so the Help to Buy ISA is pretty much the same as the lifetime ISA, only the amount that you get is different, and what you can use the money for is different as well. I can't remember the nuances right off the bat right now, but they are good. But the lifetime ISAs were seen as almost like an improvement to the Help to Buy ISA. Um, so you can still use it. The fact that you've got it open is fine. I'd need to refresh myself on Help to Buy again. It's been a long time since I had a look at them. But yeah, maybe Google the comparison between the two. The lifetime ISA was definitely seen as an improvement on the Help to Buy ISA, but the bonus that you got was exactly the same. There was just nuances around um, how you could access the money and what the money actually went for. So, for example, in some cases, you would think it was for a deposit, but it wouldn't be released until a particular point. So it would then go on to things like conveyancing fees or your mortgage fees and stuff. So um, there was that little problem with it that got improved with the lifetime ISA. Would you be investing a larger amount in the markets considering they're down, or sticking to what you normally do? Um, Dollar cost averaging in monthly. Well, my investment strategy is set as it is. What I would do is not necessarily what you should do, Elliot. So whatever you're doing, if you're dollar cost averaging, continue to do that. If you have a large amount to put in, put the large amount in. But you have to remember, obviously, markets are volatile. Markets will go up and down. What I would do isn't necessarily what you should do in any way, shape, or form, because my journey is very, very different to yours. And my appetite for risk will probably be very, very different to yours as well. So if you're already pound cost averaging or dollar cost averaging into the markets, that's fine. Continue to do that while the markets are down. You can buy the dip. If you want to go and put a lump sum, you can also do that as well. But you just need to bear in mind that, you don't know when the bottom is. So if you're going to put a large amount in, just be prepared that it might actually fall a little bit further before you see a bounce. Yeah, this is a good one. Is buying a new car a completely stupid idea, as many people say? Also, what do you think is the most sensible way to finance a new car or used car? Listen, mate, one of the biggest and most stupid things that I did in the past 5 years was, and don't get me wrong, I still have it. I love it. I've enjoyed it immensely. It served me really, really well. It has. I can't complain for the benefit that it's given me, and it's given me huge benefit, saved me a ton of money as well. But the most stupid thing that I bought in the last probably 5 6 years was my car. It was I was impulsive. I wasn't really thinking logically. I was making a shed load of money back then. I didn't really care, didn't give two tosses, and I just thought, I'll have it because I could. In hindsight, it was ridiculous. It's absolutely stupid. I mean, that thing cost me, it cost me £826 a month, that I could have easily gone and got something that wasn't as nice, maybe for £400, because I still would have been able to afford that, and could have just plowed 400 quid a month into the markets. Cars are a really, really bad, bad, bad spend. I mean, I own the car out right now, so I'm going to run it into the ground. It still works perfectly. It still looks great, and I love it. But it is the most stupid thing that I have bought in the last 5 to 6 years. The minute you buy a new car, you're going to lose the VAT straight off the minute you literally drive it off the forecourt. You then got to think about insurance, MOT, tires, oil. If it's diesel, AdBlue. All of these things add up. The servicing, the road tax, all of these things really add up. And it depends on what your scenario is. So, like, I was doing a lot of miles when I bought this car, so I needed something that I was going to be comfortable in, because I was doing 60, 70,000 miles a year. I was doing a lot of driving. So having a little bit of comfort was really, really, really nice. But in hindsight, was it worth the monetary amount? Not really. Not really. I mean, I cringe just thinking about it right now. I really, really do. But if you're going to go for a new or used car, try leasing. Try leasing it. At least that way you can give it back at some point if you wanted to. You can get out relatively easy, or you can move to something else. Maybe try leasing. But I'm not a car finance expert specifically. There are what's Lee's company on here? I will give you an account on Instagram actually to go follow. Bear me 1 second. I'll just try and find him. What's he called? Car Buying Guru UK. Go and follow that account on Instagram. They're really, really good. I know one of the guys who runs that business, and he's all about trying to get people to arrive at the best decision when it comes to actually financing and accessing a vehicle. And they're not about just selling cars to make a load of money. They're really, really honest. They're really, really good. Lee is awesome. I actually did an IG live with them. Was it this year? It might have been this year. I think it would have been this year, actually, to be fair, because that was before I did a series for them on Pivot. So it would have been this year and stuff. If you go through their Instagram, you'll probably find the live that I did with them. It will be earlier in the year, maybe February or March or something like that. But go follow them, Car Buying Guru UK. But yeah, good luck with it, mate. Cars are great. They make you feel good, but they don't make your wallet feel good. That's for damn sure. Andy, how you doing, mate? Really, really good to see you as well, man. Really good to see you as well. Um, Here's a workplace pension question. I have a workplace pension with Scottish Widows. Can I open a pension with Vanguard and transfer most of the money for Scottish Widowed, but continue paying into Scottish Widow account through work? It really depends. Some workplace pensions won't allow you to transfer um, and continue to pay in. So you need to double check with your workplace pension scheme. If they'll allow you, then yes, you can. But if not, then it means that you're going to be stuck with them until such time that you either leave them and can transfer out once contributions aren't going to be continually paid in to the work scheme. So you need to check with work for that because the rules can vary from provider to provider. I would question why you're looking to go to Vanguard though. What are your reasons behind that? And just make sure as well, do you understand what the Scottish Widows scheme actually is in terms of what the options you have to be invested in? That's worthwhile asking and finding out because you want to obviously do a comparison between where you are right now and where you're going to go to in terms of like provider, performance, fees, those kind of things. Vanguard might be a little bit cheaper, but is that the main reason for you moving, or are you looking to access more? And if that is the case, you want access to more, what does Scottish Widows have available to you to invest in that could either be similar or on par in terms of the portfolio makeup, diversification, and asset access that you'll get from Vanguard. So those are just a couple of things to bear in mind. But you do need to ask Scottish Widows and find some information about whether you can actually do a partial transfer, because that's what it's called, a partial transfer. If they allow you to do it, then great. But if not, you might be a little bit stuck. All right. Okay. So let's have a look at this one. Since Eureka has taken a pause, I don't want my money to stop working. I'm thinking about transferring to Money Farm. Was actually considering them before Eureka. What do you think? Money Farm are good. I've got some money with Money Farm. They are actively managed. You're going to pay a little bit more in terms of the service, but they are really, really good. Actually, let me just check my portfolio with them to see how are they doing at the moment. The last time I checked, they were like 6% up, which is pretty good considering that we've had some volatile time, certainly over the last year or so. And because they're actively managed, what they basically do is when the markets are very volatile like they are right now, they're looking at the portfolio. They're trying to decide whether they keep things the same or whether they start to move things out and buy other things on the dip. So at the moment, my portfolio is up actually 7.6%, even with the volatility that's going on right now. So they are very, very good. One thing that I mentioned in the video that I did for them was that, on the app, which is literally right there, you can actually book to speak to one of their consultants. So if you go onto the app, so for example, they've got October the 4th, which is tomorrow, they've got 10 slots available. And then if I wanted to, I could literally pick my time. So they've got from between 12 and 4:30. So they do half-hour slots. So I could book a session with them at 12:30, and then someone would ring me and I could ask them any questions about portfolios or anything like that, about investing, so on and so forth. So they're a really, really good option, but you'll pay a little bit more because it is an actively managed solution. essentially. And since you've mentioned Eureka here, so as many of you will know, I am part of a startup called Eureka. I'm a non-executive director essentially. So my job within there is to basically help them uh, outreach messaging to on YouTube here, for example. Although this isn't the Eureka channel, I still cover a load of other providers as well as I see fit. But also use my expertise and my connections within the industry, given my experience around interfacing with financial advisors, so on and so forth, just as a business proposition. Now, when business is basically set up, most businesses will set up as either directly authorized or an appointed representative. An appointed representative is essentially it's like you've got a boss. So you've got, I don't know, a hierarchy within a company. So you've got the MD and then you've got the hierarchy underneath there. Basically, with an appointed representative, you work as part of a directly authorized firm. And what that basically means is that for you to do anything, so for example, for us to do any promotions or to do any marketing or to improve our services, everything has to go through a realm of approval via the company that is directly authorized. So essentially, we have to ask permission in order for us to develop our proposition, improve it, to market it, to do all kinds of things. And where we are right now, we think it's going to be more beneficial for us to go directly authorized. So that's what we're doing. We've applied to the FCA. It's going to take about 6 months. That's the application time frame for the application to be completed. And during that time, what they'll basically do is they'll have a look at the company for capital adequacy. They'll do checks on the directors. They'll do all the due diligence that they need to do before they grant us a direct authorization status. And what that will basically allow us to do is will allow us to create new products. It will allow us to be a bit more nimble and a bit more fluid than having to package something, send it up for somebody else to go and have a look at, and then that person then says, no, we don't want you to do this, or we're not going to sign this off. Or actually, because what we're doing at Eureka on the time-based stuff is very, very unique. It's not the traditional way of doing things. And so what we found is that because we're an appointed representative of an older company that has been around for a while and still works on the old way of things, they weren't too keen on, they didn't really quite see our vision. So we want to get direct authorization, which will allow us to be a bit more nimble with what we're doing. And what that basically means is at the moment, we've got to take a little bit pause whilst we get that authorization through. The good news is we do have a case handler with the FCA already. So the application is underway. It might be a little bit quicker, but sometimes these things do take their time with the FCA. But we've been in kind of conversation with them as well. But since that was raised, I will mention that and address that. But if you guys, are part of us, you would have had an email from us as well. I don't think anybody's down, actually. I don't think anybody should be down, even with the markets, because we were doing very, very well on the performance side to things as well. But if you have any questions, then feel free to obviously message me either on Instagram or even on here. If you want to ask questions whilst I'm live, happy to have a conversation on that as well. Yeah, I know. You had a nightmare with Vanguard, getting it over from Vanguard over to us. And to be fair, when we were talking about actually taking this pause, one of the first things I said to Chris was that you needed to get a separate email so that we could kind of tell you, bearing in mind that we had to do a lot of work in behind the scenes to get that money over from Vanguard, and it took quite a while because I know you asked about the process here on some of the lives as well. But we will be back. We've got a few other things that we're going to be looking at as well, which is really, really exciting. So yeah, it's just going to take us a little bit of time, and it's unfortunate, really. We didn't want to do it, but it's like in the long run, over the long term, is going to put us in a much, much better position to be able to really grow the business and actually offer things that because we're doing research in the background as well. And we know that there are certain elements, and I can't speak about them right now, but we've got something that is going to make a massive, massive, massive change, particularly if you're a little bit bored of not being able to get much on interest rates in your savings account. That's what I'm going to say. But yeah, we can't launch these kind of things without having to go through a whole rigmarole process of trying to get the appoint the directly authorized firm that we're ARs to agree for us to do, even to package it or even to build it. It's an absolute nightmare. So long term, this is going to be better for us and better for customers as well. Have I heard of Monofoly? And if so, what's your thoughts on it? I've not heard of them. I don't know who they are, so I can't really give any comment, Ma, unfortunately. Can I ask the transfer to be done from Eureka? Also, I watched your video about Money Farm and got in contact with the customer service via phone call. But yeah, eventually I chose eventually instead. Yeah. Can I ask the transfer to be done from Eureka? I think you can. Let me double check with Chris for you, because he's doing the process side to things. So let me just double check for you whether we can instigate. So what we basically need to do is we need to provide, and this is the issue that you have with Vanguard, it's the history of where the ISAs have been. Because when you transfer an ISA, remember the rule is that you can only add £20,000 into your ISA each tax year. So when you transfer an ISA over, you need the history to come over so that they know that it's already money that's been sat within an ISA account. So one of the things that we are going to be doing, and is standard process, is we need to provide you with the history of the ISA. So basically a paper trail to say it's come from provider X to Vanguard, from Vanguard to us, then it's going to go from us to Money Farm, for example. So we'll be able to provide you all of that. Chris will know whether we can actually instigate the process for you this week. So I need to double check with Chris because he's dealing with the process side of things. That's okay, mate. It's fine. You've got me on the Discord as well, mate. So if you have any questions on the Discord, just ping them in there. I know that I was up until late last night, so the minute I saw your message, I literally just messaged you back within the Discord. So yeah, if you have any questions, mate, just ping them in there, and we can go from there. How often should you check the performance of your index funds within an ISA? Well, I personally check. I don't check that often, to be honest, because I think if the markets are down, it's counterintuitive. You just worry yourself. Most people will check either half yearly or yearly and do a proper review, like looking at it properly. Has it performed the way I want it to, or as I was expecting? If it's underperformed, why is it underperformed? Is it specific to this fund? Or have the markets just been volatile and therefore everything is down? Those are the kind of views and questions that you'll be asking. But typically 6 months, once a year, doing a full review just to make sure that you're on track and you're not massively behind or something's massively wrong, essentially. Yeah. Reach out by Discord, Andy. That's fine. That's not a problem at all. The HSBC FTSE 200, FTSE 250 index. Well, it's gonna, mate. There isn't really going to be that much comment I can give. The only thing that they'll probably do different to, I don't know, if iShares has got one, BlackRock has got one, is they might have a different asset allocation, but it's basically going to be the FTSE 250, the top 250 companies in the country, which will probably be large cap, mid cap. Really, there isn't going to be that much more detail to it. It's not going to be that much sexier to it. I mean, I don't have the performance details to be able to make comment on the performance details, but within that, it's going to be about how have they allocated their money in terms of the asset allocation. That is what will be different compared to, the likes of BlackRock if they've got one, or Fidelity if they've got one, or Vanguard if they have a version of that fund. It's all about the diversification. And oftentimes, I've said it, on a couple of lives before, diversification is often where you're going to make the difference in terms of performance or underperformance, because it's all about how you allocate money to the companies that you have within that index from an investment point of view. So it's hard to say without seeing it, GT, but the FTSE 250, it's the FTSE 250, mate, UK based, 250 companies in the country. You'll pick up some good companies in there, because it is going to be a domestic index. Then you need to obviously pay attention to, what are the threats that we have within the UK at the moment, travel, all that kind of stuff. What sectors are you going to pick up as part of the 250 index? What companies are they going to be in? What are the risks to those sectors? So travel and hospitality, things should be doing really well. I mean, I'm going away on Tuesday for a week, and just booking that holiday was an absolute nightmare because companies are just inundated. So there seems to be a lot of money flowing into travel now that, well, tomorrow actually the travel restrictions change. So you need to look at those kind of details just to see what are you picking up within the 250. How is their makeup um, assigned in terms of sectors? Have they seen something specific? Do they think the hospitality and travel is going to do really, really well, so therefore they've allocating more money, or they've got their asset allocation more weighted towards that particular sector? If so, why? If not, why? What are they looking at? You need to read through the fund fact sheet, the key information document, and try and get a sense of what the goal is and what they're trying to achieve with that fund. But it's 250, so it should be good. It's all about prospects and what you think the local economy is going to do, though. All right. Okay. Cool. I know that there was only going to be a few of you because I know it's 11 o'clock, and yeah, I'm going to be logging off today. I'm going to run around tomorrow. I'm going to be away for the week. I'll be back. There will be a video on Tuesday. There may not be one on Friday. Depends how I feel. Depends whether I get bored or not. But yeah, there might not be a video on Friday, but we'll see. But yeah, I wanted to do this just to ask some questions and yeah, take it from here. But guys, I appreciate you for coming on 10:30, hanging out with me until 11. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully the answers that I've provided in terms of the questions that you've asked have also been helpful. But guys, whatever you do, have an amazing week. I will see you when I get back. If I don't see you on Friday, catch you later.